Commercial Law League of America had 6 meetings to go to as president. The president had 6 speeches he got to give, 6 opportunities to tell the membership about the state of the league or whatever in the heck the president wanted to talk about. Now we're down to possibly 2, really only kind of 1. So now that dessert is being digested, feel free to continue, get yourself some more coffee, pour another glass of wine, because I've got 6 speeches worth of material. The first thing for you to know is I am not going to stand up here and give you my list of things I'm hoping to accomplish for the coming year. I have these lists. But I will confess that when I'm out there, that speech bores me to death. And if the golden rule stands for anything, it stands for the proposition that thou shalt not do unto others what bores the snot out of you. So I want to talk about my thoughts about the league, where we stand right now at the corner of history and progress. Before that, one brief aside, I don't know if any of you noticed, but it is fitting. We apparently have an entire table for Elijah here tonight. Gentiles, ask your local Jew. Now, the first thing that you need to keep in mind is that it is literally only 15 years ago this weekend that I first came to a meeting of the Commercial Law League of America. Fresh off of starting the firm, Emery and I came up here, and we couldn't afford this hotel. So we stayed in one about 8 blocks from here. And not a nice hotel either. They had hourly rates. The point, though, is that for me, the days of the 1,000-member meeting at the Waldorf Astoria literally don't exist. They didn't happen in my time at all. And my point from that is that it is that much easier for me to say something that some of you have heard me say, and some of you may hear me say in the future, and that is, that league don't exist no more. We have the league we have now, and that's the league we are going to work with. But I will bow to absolutely no one in this room in my respect for traditions and for the traditions of this league. My point is that we do more dishonor to the 117 years before by trying to recreate them than by trying to revisit the vitality and the vision of the people who created it when they said, what can we do to make a business opportunity grow? And so, because our businesses have changed, all businesses have changed, our realities have changed irreparably. It is not that the old model has failed. It is that it is now insufficient. And therefore, while still proud of our history, we have to think anew. We have to act anew. We have to disenthrall ourselves of the idea that the challenges of our future can be solved with the tools of our past. To best serve that history, we have to ask that question again. What kind of organization can help us grow our businesses? We need that vision. That thing that prompted people to come together 117 years ago. And the other thing those people had, and this league has and continues to have, is the energy to act on that. And lastly, we are going to preserve that sense of family. I'm going to talk about each of those, and I'm going to talk about them in the reverse order I just listed them. So first, about family. Emery is absolutely right. Possibly it is sad, but it is definitely true that my best friends are almost all in this room right now. The part Emery didn't mention is I am a bit of a misanthrope, so that's not that surprising. But more than any group I have ever been associated with at any level, this organization, this group in this room right now, most particularly, treats our league as though it were an extended family. And from that come two things. First is that family sense translates into actual business, because the referrals that we get from the people in this room are the best referrals we get each and every year. And the business that I get to send to the people in this room makes me a hero for my clients each and every year. It is friendship and family that I can literally put a dollar figure on. But as an organization, there's a small problem with this dynamic. And that is that there are times where we treat the organization as though it were a family meeting at a dinner table for 300, with the result that everybody believes their opinion needs to be the one that is heard last. And there's also the suggestion that if it doesn't follow someone's idea, that's what's going to destroy the league. It's not going to happen. But that's how we have acted. It's time to change that approach. And we have been changing that approach. One of the ways we have changed that approach is we hired Oliver Yandel. 3 years ago, we hired him because he took a lawyer organization with a dwindling membership and a reduced treasury and no real interest, and he turned that group around so that they had meetings people wanted to come to, a growing membership and money in the bank, and that experience is what led the people who hired him to say, he's who we need. That was a good thing. Then the other family dynamic kicked in, and we started all trying to tell him how to do the job the way we wanted it done. Now, I don't know about you, but when I have a client who tries to tell me how to do my job, I start looking for a window to push them out. But Oliver, you see, is a better man than I am. And he has agreed to stay on for another 3 years. Triumph of hope over experience, perhaps. But it is certainly clear that in some way he is expressing more faith in us than sometimes we have expressed in him. Down south, that's where I'm from, we have a religion some of y'all may have heard of. It's called football. Now, every football season, the coach gathers the men about him and he seeks to inspire them, and he tells them a little story about involvement and commitment. And the story goes this way. In your typical bacon and egg breakfast, the hen is involved, but the pig was committed. In this organization, way too often, we feel like we are committed when really we are involved. But I will tell you, even this year, for me as president, I'm involved. Oliver is committed. One of the things I've thought about for years is that you can apply the laws of physics to this organization, specifically this way. The effect of friction and gravity, resistance, on any object moving in space is to cause it to slow down. That's the law of inertia. The law of entropy says that in any system, disorder increases. What this means is, in most cases, everything wants to slow down and fall apart. And too often that happens with us. There'll be a phase when everything seems to slow down and fall apart. But the reason I refer to it in the version of the laws of physics is that the laws of physics for the law of inertia and the law of entropy say unless force is applied, things slow down and fall apart. And so we have to apply force. And that force, that energy to overcome the laws of physics is our volunteers. Everyone in this room, us. We supply the energy to keep things from slowing down and falling apart. If what you took away from the bacon and egg breakfast a minute ago was I suggest that maybe the volunteers aren't involved, no. We are involved, just not committed, and the involvement is to provide the energy to accomplish the tasks we have in front of us. During the past year or so, I've heard it said a few times, we're taking away the initiative of the volunteers. No. I don't see it that way. I see it as the exact opposite. By creating an organization where the national office is operating it day by day, the volunteers have a bigger job in some ways than we did, because the volunteers are now in charge of vision and execution. And as president of your league, I'm volunteer in chief. So my job is to be the leading effort giver for the next, it turns out to be 55 weeks. Now, one final thing.
Good deal.
He says to the general relief of the audience, the sense of family and the energy and the vision, there is a vision. It has been plainly stated through the strategic planning process and through conversations I've had with many people in this room. The need to change our focus as a group from internal to external. For all my years in the league, we have been educating ourselves. We write newsletters for ourselves. We market internal to ourselves. We keep talking to ourselves. The results have become too clear to ignore. The roots of this organization go deep, but you have to have enough water to keep the tree alive. And that water, that business, is out there. We have got to lift our gaze from the next step, the next meeting, the next claim, and start focusing our vision on the sources of new business. The business opportunities is what we're focusing on. And that vision was expressed in our strategic plan in a way that is not written in it if you read the strategic plan right now. It was expressed back in August in Boston as follows: locate, stalk, and attack business opportunities. We have to locate them. The commerce and credit industry, commercial law, is our target audience. We must have a target audience of that size. And our vision, the decision to reorient the league in the areas of practice, has to focus every aspect, from our conference education to our magazine, to the website, the email updates, everything. We must focus on practice. We have a collections practice group. The attorneys that do agency business, the agencies that send business, the attorneys who forward business to each other, the collections practice. It is our core competency. It is a practice group standing up and ready to be used. Fits right in our plan. There's a bankruptcy practice group ready to go. The other practice groups have been developed over the last couple of years: complex litigation, construction. There's a retail practice group waiting to be started. And those are only a few. If somehow you don't think you fit into the new commercial law league, I will tell you, I think you are wrong. We need good ideas, and good ideas are breaking out all over. We're allowed to have the vision. The organization we're establishing says we must have the visions. And then we can let the professionals implement our visions. That vision, that sense of family, that energy, those are the things that have kept this league around for 117 years. And if we are going to locate, stalk, and attack business opportunities, we have to have all three of those things. I am honored to be the president of the Commercial Law League. I am going to do everything I can to serve the best interest of the league. And by everything, you people need to understand, I don't have a life, I have a basset hound. And that's my pledge to work for you. But more importantly, I am counting on each and every one of you in this room to help us get to the next piece of the vision. Thank you. Good.